This has got to be one of the most shocking and disturbing photographs I've ever seen in my entire life. And yes, this appears to be Jeffrey Epstein with a small child. This is what the file that this photograph was found in looks like. For some reason, it has been labeled highly confidential, and you can see the file number and everything in the bottom right. But I don't know exactly what's going on here, but this appears to be Epstein assaulting a child. This does not look like a teenager. This looks like a very, very young girl. And I think that that's something that's a little infuriating for me as someone who has studied the Epstein story and reported on it for years. In the mainstream media, you will hear stories that Epstein only targeted women essentially of legal age. Yeah, they might have been 16 or 17, but they like to call them women. In fact, nobody seems to use proper terminology when referring to the Epstein victims and survivors. And yes, there were women that survived Epstein, women that were a bit older, but most of Epstein's victims were children. And you can clearly see in photos like this that Epstein surrounded himself with kids, even though curiously, he had no offspring of his own. And we don't know who these children are in any of these photos or these videos, but I have never seen this photo on the evening news. I have never seen this photo discussed. And I have to admit, this is one of the most shocking things that I've ever seen that clearly shows that Epstein was targeting very, very young kids. And it's just insane to me to think that people don't even want to admit that there were children and boys that were targeted by Epstein. And I've noticed that a lot of people also don't want to admit to themselves that their hero, the person that they seem to worship, is the one that's practically in charge of the cover-up right now because he's all over the files. Not just as a witness, as someone who allegedly, according to many different witnesses and accusers, actively participated in Epstein's ring. If you want to join me on my journey to expose these freaks, please consider checking out my channel, The Conspiracy Files. You can also listen to the show fully uncensored on all streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I just interviewed an Epstein/Trump survivor last week. Her name is Beatrice. She was incredible. And this week I'm spending the entire week going one by one through these files and trying to decode as many things as I possibly can for y'all and to put it all in one place.